is John Black, Super Chemist. We're talking about how to get 1,3,5-trioxane. I like to use it as a source of formaldehyde. I already did a video about paraformaldehyde. How you can get that at a darkroom store where they sell cameras and darkroom supplies, and on eBay or Amazon. You can get paraformaldehyde, maybe 1.5 moles per bottle, for hobbyists or artists that work in a darkroom. And it's pretty much, it's literally interchangeable between formaldehyde and paraformaldehyde. You know what I mean? If you want the gas, you just heat it up in a round bottom flask. If you want formalin, you just put it in some water. You know what I mean? Heat the water up a little bit. Formalin is 40% formaldehyde by volume or 37% formaldehyde by mass, and the rest of it would be water. Okay, so this is formaldehyde. It's a gas, or methanol, whichever one you want to call it. Now when you put that in water, pretty much all of it turns into this methane diol. Okay, and you can see if I take off a 1H2O, right? What am I left with? I'm left with a double bond and an O. That's the same as formaldehyde. See, that's why it's hydrated. They call this the hydrated form.
So if you can see right below the methane diol, there's a picture of a paraformaldehyde, a monomer of it. You can see it starts out as methane diol. So that methane diol, formaldehyde goes into the water, it forms methane diol mostly. Then it starts to polymerize because it loves to polymerize. And it'll make different, dimer, trimer, oligomers up to polymers, and you'll have a mix of these different lengths of polymer in solution. So you'll have a bunch of different stuff.
What we're talking about is 1,3,5-trioxane. It's basically just a triple a trimer. Yeah, it's a trimer. There's 3 of these methane diols. And if you look down here, and it's a solid, it dissolves in organic stuff real easily, but it doesn't break down when you put it in that organic stuff. That's what I'm kind of confused about here. But let's look at it closer here. I want you to see these are the 3 methane diols, that the formaldehyde turns into. But look how if I take out an H2O on each one, look at what you end up with. I drew it better here. It's a 6-membered. If you think about it, this is the same way when you make 1,4-dioxane from ethylene glycol, or 1,2-ethane diol. See how I got the 2 ethane diol molecules next to each other, and you take out the H2O, and you got 1,4-dioxane. It's the same deal up here, but you're doing it with formaldehyde. Okay, or the formaldehyde turns into the methane diol, and the methane diol connects up like this. Keep in mind too, when you get formalin, like let's say you bought some formalin a little bit on eBay or whatever, it usually has about 10% methanol in it as a stabilizer. It's to suppress oxidation and polymerization. So they'll always have at least 10%, or around 10%, give or take, of methanol in there. If you're going to, have some formalin that you make yourself and you're not going to use it right away, you should probably do the same. Now here's the paraformaldehyde. It's just, that's 1 monomer, and down here could be anything from 3 to, or I guess 10 to 100 or something like that, or 8 to 100. I don't know how many it is. But it's all kinds of oligomers, polymers, etc. Now, this is what I'm confused about, this 1,3,5-trioxane. Here's the solubility in water, 0.1 grams per 100 milliliters of water. But I don't think it breaks down in water. I think you have to add a little bit of some type of strong acid. Let's say you dump your trioxane into the water, but it doesn't break down into the formaldehyde unless you add just a little bit of acid, but very strong acid, you know what I mean, like sulfuric acid. They say, I've seen it written several times in different places, it's hard to find any information about this trioxane. They say it's interchangeable with paraformaldehyde and formaldehyde. Although if it doesn't break down, you know what I mean, I don't know. So maybe you have to put some acid in, like it says, you know, if you do put this in some water and you do put this little bit of acid, it will turn into formaldehyde. How fast that happens depends on your, you know, how much acid you put in. The more acid you put in, the faster it's going to do. If you're doing a reaction, you know, as long as this is turning into what you want it to, the formaldehyde, I don't see a problem with it. Even if it took longer, that just means your reaction will take longer, but it will get done. I'm not exactly sure how you do it though. It doesn't, base won't affect it, you know, it won't break it down or anything. Now, how do you get this trioxane? They sell it actually at like, you know, you can get it on eBay or whatever. It's no big deal to buy this stuff. It's basically used to start fires, I think, for like survivalists or campers or, you know, that type of thing. You just light it up. You'd think that, you know, it would make formaldehyde and be nasty or whatever, but it just burns, I guess. It's not, it doesn't stink or anything. And now, if you want, you can actually, this stuff, you know, you buy it in a brick, right? So like a little brick, and then you can chop it up in pieces because it's like kind of like a clay, you know what I mean? And you can put the little chunks into a distillation apparatus and just distill. This stuff won't turn into a liquid, but it will sublime. Leave everything behind. It's, you know, crap. Only your stuff will sublime, and you can distill it over. If you want, I've seen a guy do this on a video. If somebody wants to watch that video, just ask me about it, you know, in the post, and I'll give you the link to that video where he distills his trioxane and gets pure trioxane. And this is a great, you can get anhydrous formaldehyde out of this, you know, if you can figure out how. I know one way is to put it in water and, like I said, put a little bit of strong acid in there, but you'll have it in water, it won't be anhydrous. Although maybe you can distill it out and have a condenser in the way so that the condenser condenses the water back down into the pot, but the formaldehyde can go past the condenser because it's a gas, you know what I mean? And then send it through that gas through a like drying tube, you know, where you have maybe calcium chloride or something like that, and you run it through it so it dries it out even more, and you'd have the anhydrous gas. I would just want it, basically the main thing is to make formalin. But anyways, you can buy these in any supply, you know, survival supply store, army supply store, eBay, you know, anywhere that you buy camping, you know, like a camping store, you can buy trioxane. It's actually no big deal to buy it. And if you can figure it out, it's a good source of formaldehyde. You know what I mean? It doesn't stink, and you know you can carry it around with you. You can have it. You know, it doesn't smell like formaldehyde. You know what I mean? And if you put it into water, and it, you know, your reaction doesn't mind a little bit of acid in there, then it should work. Just, you know, put a little bit of acid in there and use it just like you would formalin. You know, it may take a while for this to, you know, depolymerize, but hopefully it would depolymerize at the same rate that your reaction was going on and used it, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's my whole spiel here on this. Sooner or later I'm going to get some trioxane and try to see if I can do something with it to make it into formalin or use it in a reaction and see how it's interchangeable. Paraformaldehyde is definitely interchangeable in all ways as formaldehyde. This, though, it's not. They say it's interchangeable, but you might have to add acid to the water, like I said. There's something with this trioxane, that's for sure. I also did a video on copper oxide oxidation of alcohols to make aldehydes. So if you want to make formaldehyde or a set of aldehyde that way, you can check that video out. Anyways, y'all have a great day, and always remember, science is great.